Amateur radio newsline will start in 5 minutes.
W8WKY. Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2384 with the release date of Friday, July 7th, 2023 to follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST. Gains in attendance at Europe's largest hamfest. Sri Lanka loses a respected member of the amateur community, and there are big plans ahead for radio at scout camps. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2384 comes your way right now.
From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's first independent on-the-air news and bulletin service. Now, reporting from Wadsworth, Ohio, here's Stephen Kinford, N8WB.
Our top story this week takes us to Germany with ham radio Friedrichshafen. Completing 2 weeks ago, the attendance figures have been announced, and there's some good news. Over to our European correspondent, Ed Durant, DD5LP, who attended.
This year's attendance at Ham Radio, Europe's largest hamfest, was up by 10% to 11,100, and the number of traders by 15% compared to last year, despite predictions that hamfest may suffer due to the increase in online sales during and following the pandemic. It was clear there was an increase in the number of people both at the indoor flea market halls and in the main trader and exhibitor hall. While there were no new major radio model announcements, other than we already know from Hamvention, it was good to see Kenwood back, but a shame that only Yesu's agents represented them. Icom was there with their usual impressive large display area, and competing in size was a new company to the amateur radio market, Aronia, a manufacturer of high-quality test equipment. All in all, it was a very uplifting event. Just as important was the announcement that the required legislative documents had just been signed to implement the new German entry-level N-class amateur radio license. The regulations will come into force on the 21st of June 2024, the week before next year's ham radio event between the 28th and 30th. And indeed, the very first examinations for this new class of license will take place at Ham Radio 2024. The new license will allow access to 70 centimeters, 2 meters and 10 meters, running a maximum of 10 watts, and will conform to CEPT specifications for an entry-level license. This was Ed Durant, DD5LP.
Following years of experimental use of the frequencies between 2 and 25 megahertz, a range the FCC considers underutilized, members of the Shortwave Modernization Coalition have asked the agency for rule changes that would permit fixed, long-distance, time-sensitive transmissions of data by commercial entities. The FCC is requesting public comment on the proposed rule change, which the Commission said would not have an impact on that part of the spectrum used exclusively by amateur radio, maritime, or aeronautical services. A rule change would make the frequencies available to regular commercial operations. At present, only 61 of the 21,507 active licenses for frequencies between 2 and 25 megahertz are for industrial and business use, according to the FCC. The businesses seeking access have relied until now on satellite, fiber, microwave, and millimeter wave wireless transmissions. Shortwave Management Coalition members, who include such entities as companies in the financial markets, believe a rule change could widen access to other industries, such as mining, petroleum, and manufacturing. Comments are due to the FCC within the month. In other action in Washington, it's shaping up to be a busy month for the Federal Communications Commission, which is considering whether low-power analog TV stations that have a Channel 6 allocation can continue to broadcast analog FM radio. Kevin Trotman, N5PRE, tells us what's behind the issue.
In a small number of U.S. markets, FM broadcast audio has long been available from TV stations, making use of a subcarrier 250 kilohertz from the top of the Channel 6 frequencies. At the FCC's open meeting on July 20th, the FCC will look at an option it favors, permitting these low-power TV stations to continue this practice as a supplementary service even after the TV station's conversion to digital. The FCC believes that preserving the operations for those 13 low-power stations would benefit the public interest, noting as well that there is no record of TV interference with the adjacent FM channels, known as FM6 stations. The FCC wrote in a fact sheet on its website that it has not received complaints with credible evidence showing anything to the contrary. FM6 radio is permitted to operate on 87.75 megahertz, and the service may only be offered within low-power TV stations' coverage area and on a non-interference basis. This is Kevin Trotman in 5PRE.
In case you've marked your calendar for January of next year, hoping to make contact with Clipperton Island DXpedition, there's extra good news if you are a satellite enthusiast. Neil Rapp, WB9VPG, explains.
When members of the Perseverance DX group call QRZ in January of 2024 from Clipperton Island, they'll have an extra way to make contact. The team just announced that the TX5SD expedition will include satellite operations. The team's satellite station manager, Andreas N6NU, reported in a recent press release that the team hopes to use the IO-117 Green Cube satellite, which not only has a generous footprint over the island, but has passes that last more than an hour. The uninhabited atoll in the eastern Pacific Ocean will be home for the team for 16 days as they use sideband CW Ready and FT8. This is the 38th most wanted DX according to Club Log, and it is IOTA number NA011. This is Neil Rapp, WB9VPG.
There's nothing like a good contest to bring out the thrill of competition in some hams. In Scotland, however, one amateur radio group is enjoying the status of being one of the top winners at, of all things, a film festival. Jeremy Booth, G4NGH, explains what happened.
Hams in the Aberdeen Amateur Radio Society had the kind of performance you might not see in a DX contest, a sprint, or even a QSO party. They were among the top winners at this year's Doric Film Festival, an event that shines a light on filmmakers who celebrate Doric culture and language in their work. The 5-minute production is colourful, lively, and entirely in the Doric language. Interestingly enough, this is not the Radio Society's first appearance in a film. A 12-minute film called Hams was released in 1961 and is available for viewing online in the moving image archives of the National Library of Scotland. That film, however, is in black and white and in English. Doric, once the official language of Scotland, is still widely spoken in the country's northeast. The festival's winning films were screened last month at the awards ceremony on the campus of Robert Gordon University in Aberdeen. The stars of the Radio Society's film are, of course, the many operators in the club, and they are seen sending Morse code and talking to the International Space Station. There is even a cameo appearance by a pig. Of course, you'll have to watch the film on YouTube to understand why. See the link to the Society's film in the text version of this week's Newsline script at arnewsline.org. This is Jeremy Booth, G4NJH.
A well-respected amateur in Sri Lanka and a familiar voice on a popular evening net has become a silent key. We hear about him from Jason Daniels, VK2LAW.
The Radio Society of Sri Lanka held a special tribute VHF tribute net to honour Assoc de Silva, 4 Sierra 5 Bravo Alpha Kilo, who became a silent key on the 26th of June, 2 months after his 75th birthday. The retired banker, who rose to prominence in the financial sector, was remembered by many who checked in on VHF or via Echolink during the 1-hour net. The net was recorded by the Society to present to Assoc's family as a gift. A mainstay of the daily 9 p.m. net for the past 3 years, Assoc was a familiar voice who would share with his fellow hams a thorough, well-researched weather report that many looked forward to hearing. His last check-in on the net took place on the 9th of April. According to the Radio Society, even in the difficult final months of his life, Assoc was determined to upgrade the amateur radio licence he first acquired during his retirement. Despite frequent hospitalisations, he successfully sat the general and advanced exams and qualified for that sought-after upgrade. The VHF tribute net allowed hams from elsewhere, including the United States, Canada and India, to check in with Victor Gunatelecki, 4S7VK as net control. They shared memories of Assoc, remembering him fondly as the net's weatherman, and expressed their condolences to his family. The Radio Society's own tribute online said, quote, "We've lost a dear friend, and his untimely departure leaves an immense void that will be difficult to fill," end quote. This is Jason Daniels, VK2LAW.
Time for you to identify your station. We are the Amateur Radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the IRLP Western Reflector Channel 9258 on Mondays at 7 p.m. program is in the works to encourage hams everywhere to make contacts with young hams involved in scouting. Think of it as a push for hams to do a bit of scouting for scouts. It's called Scout Camps on the Air, and it started as the dream of Matt, KR8E. He saw it as a way for the ham population to have QSOs with scout stations based on camps that are owned or leased by the scouting organization, or those not at any camps but still known as scout stations on the air. Though the program is still a work in progress, the committee has added 3 active scouts who are deeply involved in amateur radio, hoping to add to the momentum. The committee has been asking scout councils to provide input. Organizers are meanwhile developing a multi-level awards program to recognize licensed hams worldwide everywhere who have successful radio contacts with the scouts. You can follow the progress of Scout Camps on the Air or get involved by following the program on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. See the text version of this week's newscast script at arnewsline.org for the Twitter and Instagram handles of Scout Camps on the Air. Amateur radio operators in India have once again used their extensive network of contacts to bring about a family reunion. Graham Kemp, VK4BB, gives us their story.
A mother in India who went missing at a fair 17 years ago while her 3 children were on an amusement ride is heading back home to Baha thanks to local radio amateurs. Following the separation, the children had come to believe their mother has long since died. Their fears were proven wrong, however, after police enforcing the recent COVID-19 lockdown saw her wandering the streets outside her home village, unable to speak. They took her for hospital evaluation. From there, she was transferred to the Missionaries of Charity Home, where she remained until the home asked the West Bengal Radio Club for assistance. And Barish Nag Biswas, VU2JFA, the club secretary, told the website etvbarrett.com that the radio club sent pictures to amateur radio operators they know throughout India. A reply ultimately came from the woman's daughter in Baha through the hams there. The daughter told the West Bengal hams she'd been seeking her mother for years, and she was feared dead. At the time of the family's story appeared in the local media, a reunion was being planned. This is Graham Kemp, VK4BB.
In the world of DX, be listening for ROGS. LB3RE operating on 40 to 6 meters as DU1/LB3RE from Luzon Island, IOTA number OC-042 until the 18th of July. See QRZ.com for QSL details. Be listening for a 6-member team of activators using the call sign RI1OR. From Bolshoi Sovietsky Island, IOTA number EU-066, from the 25th to the 29th of July. They will be operating CW, SSB, and digital modes on 160 to 10 meters. Send QSLs via RZ3EC. Chasers of worldwide flora and fauna activations may want to listen for Bruno F4JIK. He is touring Finland in his camper van, is on the air as OH/F4JIK/P until the 13th of July. Listen for him on SSB on 40, 20, and 15 meters from several Finnish flora and fauna locations. Listen for Ben PE5B, who will be active as PJ7/PE5B from St. Martin, IOTA number NA-105 from the 7th to the 14th of July. He will be operating SSB in RIDI while doing training and demonstrations of ham radio and HFMCOM to local grips. QSL via LOTW. Imagine AI, artificial intelligence, behind the radio mic? Well, it has already arrived in broadcasting, and that's giving us here at Newsline something to think about, too. Here's Ralph Squilacci, KK6ITB, to explain.
In Portland, Oregon, the radio DJ known as Ashley Z. Elzinga has some company in the studio. Herself. The station, Live 95.5 KBFF, has begun using an artificial version of her voice to produce segments, using Futuri Media's Radio GPT during midday programming. Ashley Z is a syndicated talent heard on a number of other stations, including ones in Michigan and Seattle. The Oregon station is calling her AI Ashley, and it even quotes her in the station's press release expressing her commitment to being the world's first AI DJ. Meanwhile, students at the University of Florida have used Radio GPT to create an AI personality they've named Q. Q is featured on the College of Journalism and Communications Audio Research and Development platform, GHQ. According to a report in Radio World, Radio GPT generates scripts about relevant topics by scanning online content and social media and then voices the script using AI. It does leave us wondering, however, how long before something called Ham GPT is developed and learns to scan the solar reports, the propagation maps, the DX clusters, and even our personal details on QRZ.com, handing out 5.9 and 7.3. Perhaps for that answer, for now, we'll have to Google it. This is Ralph Squillace, KK6ITB.
We hope our listeners have been enjoying the Amateur Radio Newsline Haiku Challenge. We certainly have. In the spirit of fun and perhaps a little bit of literary adventure, we've been inviting listeners to channel their most creative selves and share the joy of ham radio in the form of a haiku. On our website, arnewsline.org, you will find a submission form for sending your most poetic offering. To qualify, you need to follow traditional haiku form. The first line is 5 syllables, the second line is 7 syllables, and the finishing third line has another 5 syllables. We cannot accept any other formats. Our team will pick from the best submissions that follow the 5-7-5 syllable rule and represent the love of amateur radio. Your prize, for now, bragging rights and a featured spot for your haiku on the Amateur Radio Newsline website. We may have a surprise for you at the end of the year, however, so visit our website at arnewsline.org and take a look at this week's winning ham radio haiku. Do you have a piece of amateur radio news that you think Newsline would be interested in? We're not talking about advertising your club's upcoming Hamfest or Field Day participation, but something that is out of the ordinary. And if so, send us a brief overview via the contact page at arnewsline.org. If it's newsworthy and we'd like to cover it, we'll get back to you for more details. With thanks to Amateur Radio Daily, AMSAT News Service, ARRL, CQ Magazine, David Behart, K7DB, DX-World.net, FCC 425DX News, ETVBHARAT.com, QRZ.com, RadioInsight.com, Shortwave Listening Post, ShortwaveRadio.de, Wireless Institute of Australia, and you, our listeners. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind our listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer, non-profit organization that incurs expenses for its continued operation. If you wish to support us, please visit our website at arnewsline.org and know that we appreciate you all. We also remind our listeners that if you like our newscasts, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York and our news team worldwide, I'm Stephen Kinford, NAWB in Wadsworth, Ohio, saying 73, and as always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2023, all rights reserved.
W8WKY, time out.
the weekly Serenette featuring club news, trivia, and check-ins from some of the nicest hams in the universe starts in 5 minutes.
Why be buying with
Get ready for the weekly Serenet starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
CQ. This is W8 WKY calling CQ for the Silvercreek Amateur Radio Association Tuesday Night Net. Net control this evening is Javan, W8UA, and the net uses the club call sign Whiskey 8, Whiskey Kilo Yankee for all traffic. This is a control net, and all traffic must pass through net control. Emergency traffic may break into this net at any time. Sarah meets on this repeater every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. This net is open to all licensed amateurs, and any amateur is encouraged to check in and join us. The PL tone for this repeater is 114.8. We'll go through some announcements, followed by a round of in-and-out check-ins. Then we'll move to regular check-ins and get our trivia question. Here are tonight's announcements. We would like to welcome everyone to our monthly club meeting that is next Thursday, July 20th. After a brief business meeting, Zeke, AB8OU, will be giving a presentation on the NFIT half-wave antenna, talking about the theory and the myths regarding it. The meeting is still at the Wadsworth Eagles at 116 High Street, and we hope to see you there. Our next VE session will be on August 5th at the Wayne County Justice Center in Worcester. If you are interested in becoming licensed or upgrading to another license class, you are welcome to stop by and take the appropriate exams. Please visit our website first, w8wky.org, to find additional info and fill out the registration form. Now we will open it up to anybody else with announcements. If anyone has announcements for tonight's net, please call W8WKY. All right, with nothing heard, now we will proceed to taking in and out check-ins this evening. If you'd like to check in and out to this evening's net, please call W8WKY.
Whiskey Bravo 8, Victor Mike Whiskey.
Kilowatt 8, American Motors, experimental, in and out.
Javan and the net, WA8KOC, Whiskey Alpha 8, Kilo Oscar Charlie, Fred, in and out, have a great net.
Just calling no traffic here on this end, and everyone have a wonderful fellowship together. This is WB3K, and I'm QRT.
KEASDQ, in and out.
Kilo Delta 8 Echo Papa Charlie, Heaty EPC Dustin and Medina, in and out.
Whiskey 8, Charlie Tango Mike, Carry at Port Spikes, in and out.
Kilo Echo 8, Juliet November Hotel, Duggan Rippon, in and out.
AF8G, Kilo Foxtrot 8 Golf, Brian and Norton, in and out.
Kilo Alpha 8, Mike November Tango, Tom in Canton, Hubby in and out.
November 8, Delta Romeo Delta, N8DRD, Don in Marshallville, in and out.
Kilo F8, Sir Bato Sir, Martin and Wadsworth, in and out. It seems like I can't squeeze in this thing.
W8WKY.
KD8VYT.
All right, let's pick it up here. Okay, so far for the in and out list, we got WB8VMW, K8AMX, WA8KOC, WV3K, KE8SDQ, KD8EPC, W8CTM, KE8JNH, KF8G, KA8MNT, N8DRD, KE8SFS, and KD8VYT. Anyone else in and out for the Tuesday night net, please call.
Here's DL, November 8, Uniform Delta Lima, Denny, in and out. Kilo Echo 8, Victor Kilo Alpha, Josh in Ellet, in and out. Have a good night and good net tonight, Javan.
Kilo Echo 8, Yankee Sierra Mike. This is Joe from North Canton, in and out.
All right, we got three more that round. N8UDL, KE8VKA, and KE8YSM. All right, with that, let's move over to regular check-ins for the Tuesday night net. If you're wishing to check in, join us and answer our trivia question. Now is the time to call. Please call W8WKY.
W8WKY, this is KE8YBY, Henry in Kent, Ohio.
November 8, Echo India, Jason Norton.
W8WKY, this is Kilo Delta 8, Sierra Lima Golf, 88 SLG, Nick in Orville.
November Tango 8, Delta, NT8D, Dave and Copley.
Two JLS, John in Fairlawn.
Alpha 8, this is Charlie Sierra. This is Gary in Fairlawn.
Okay, let me pick it up and read back who we got. Okay, that round we got KC8YQY, N8EI, KD8SLG, NT8D, W2JLS, and AA8CS. Anyone else for the regular check-ins for tonight's net, please call W8WKY.
W8WKY, this is WO3X, Whiskey Oscar 3 X-Ray, John in Cuyahoga Falls.
Kilo Echo 8, Uniform India Bravo, KE8 UIB, John in Massillon.
KC8HDT, Gary in Shreve.
N8LTR on RF, the way it should be.
W8WKY, this is Kilo Golf 4, Sierra Charlie Kilo, KG4SCK Mark, Copley.
Okay, got another small list there. We got WO3X, KE8UIB, KC8HDP, N8LTR, and KG4SCK. All right, let's make one last call for regular check-ins. If you want to get in and get on the trivia question, share your comments with the group here. Now is the time to call. Please call W8WKY. All right, nothing heard. I guess we will now move over to the part where we get the trivia question. Eric, W8ELM, I think is out for this part of the net. No problem there. I think he's going to be joining us a little bit later on. So I got a trivia question for tonight. We'll see how well it goes. So let's go. In early receivers, a C battery was used as... Here's the answers. A is a device to catch grid leaks. B is a power supply for the dial lights. C, a bias supply. Or D, the main power source. Again, I'll read the question 2 times now. In early receivers, a C battery was used as. In early receivers, a C battery was used as, and here's the answers again. A device to catch grid leaks. B, a power supply for the dial light. C, a bias supply. D, the main power source. And we'll see how that goes for today. All right, first up, let's head over to the list of check-ins here. And first up is KC8YQI. Good evening and welcome to the net. How are you doing? And what's your answer to tonight's trivia question?
WKY. I think you got my call sign wrong. I will repeat my call sign. It is Kilo Echo 8 Yankee Papa Yankee. And I've had a good day today. Building a Lego engine, putting Windex in there to make it run better. I'll go with Charlie. I just go with my gut and that's what it is. This is Kilo Echo 8 Yankee Papa Yankee. Back to net control.
Okay, sorry about that. You were a little bit weak in the repeater that time, and I think I got the corrected call sign. KE8YPY, we got it that time, Henry. And I missed your answer to the trivia question. Would you be able to give that to me one more time? I would appreciate that.
This is Kilo Echo 8 Yankee Papa Yankee. The answer for the trivia, I will go with Charlie. C.
All right, perfect. We got it that time, Henry, and you were sounding a little bit better from what I could hear. So good to have you in here. It looks like you're coming in from Kent this evening. So thanks for joining us. Great to hear you, and hope to catch you on here again soon. All right, next up is Jason, NADI. Good evening, Jason. How are you doing? And what's your answer to tonight's trivia question?
Yeah, good evening there, Javan, and all on the net. This is NADI. For the trivia question, I think it was C. I'm going to go with its bias. We'll see how that lands here in the trivia world here. Other than that, just packaged up and sent the Worcester on 147.21 machine. Doug was kind enough to come pick that up tonight. If you haven't been following the saga of that, their Motorola suffered an untimely demise out there and was helping them get that back on the air. So hopefully W8WO is going to be back to its full capacity here, hopefully Thursday or Friday of this week. And that's one more project off the list. So up next on the NADI workbench is going to be getting prepped for the build project, which I am really looking forward to. We got a good turnout for that and a lot of enthusiastic participation. So that's probably about it for me tonight, but just wanted to say hello. Hope everyone has a good evening, and we'll see each other at the meeting, if not before. Back to Net Control, W8WKY. This is NADI.
All right, very good, Jason. Well, thanks for sharing that, and that's great to hear about some of the work being done on the Worcester repeater. It's good to have that back up and fully functional, and it's great to have that all linked together for some of the nets here. Of course, we have that for most of, if not all of the local nets, barometer nets, and some of the others. So great to have the kind of the wide reach in the mornings there. So thanks for all that, and let's go with the build project. I'm sure I wasn't able to sign up for that. But hopefully everybody who signed up will be able to get that completed and get a nice functioning antenna up on the air. Sounds great. And we got you down for C. All right, next up on the list here is Nick, KD8SLG. Good evening, Nick. How are you doing? And what's your answer to tonight's trivia question?
W8WKY, this is KD8SLG. Good evening, Javan, and all of the Sarah netizens. I'm going to follow the crowd here down the Charlie rabbit hole. So I'm going with Charlie for trivia. We'll get that out of the way before I forget. And I'm looking forward to the build project as well. As everyone knows, I am an appliance operator. So me actually building something is really, really a leap forward. So I'm kind of excited about that. And on the Bolo net last night, I had the realization that since the Worcester Club has moved their digital repeater to the other tower site now, it's only about 4.5 or 5 miles away from me. So I no longer have to like stand on a stump and hold my handy-talkie in just the right position to get into that one. So it's kind of neat having some more digital coverage out here in the far Southland. That's all I got tonight, I think. Oh, Javan, you got the guys on Saturday morning barometer net. Very, very well trained. Thank you very much. This is KD8SLG. Back to net control.
NADI recheck.
All right, go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, Nick reminded me of something there with the movement of the Worcester UHF machine. We did move that last Sunday, and that machine, it's 143.175. It's a multi-mode digital repeater, supports D-Star, System Fusion, and DMR. That repeater is now probably a good 150 feet higher in the air than it was. So if you're down in the central Wayne County area or even further west, that repeater should have a lot better coverage for you now. So something you might want to poke at. Thanks, Javan, and ADI.
All right, very good, Jason. Thanks for the info there, and thanks, Nick. And I wanted to thank you for doing the barometer net last Saturday. It was great to be able to pass it over to you for that time. So, and I was going to follow back up what I said on the off-center fed dipole. I have something very similar to that. So, I probably shouldn't build to the same antenna, even though I want to. But from what I have, I actually installed it just about 20 feet off the ground in my attic, and I've been very impressed. And it was very easy to set up and tune, and using all the bands. So, I'm sure whoever signed up for that is gonna have a lot of fun with that project, and it'll work great for him. So, Nick, we got you down for a C for the trivia questions. So thanks for that. All right, next up on the list is Dave, NTAD. Good evening, Dave. How are you doing? And what's your answer to tonight's trivia question? You gonna pick a different answer than the crowd?
Hey there, Javan, everybody on the net, anybody who might be listening. I'd like to, but sadly, no. I'd like to distractor B, lighting up the thing. That sounds like a really good distractor, and it's I think a great wrong answer. But I could be wrong in thinking it's a wrong answer. But I'm going to go with C, Charlie. Let's see, because I think the early receiver thing is what really kind of gives it away. They probably didn't even have lights. Let's see, I'm going to try to go to the radio roundup over Lake Milton on Saturday. Possible thunderstorms. I got the center board rigging done, so the boat's ready to go out and motor again and test out the center board. Still waiting for the sails. And that's pretty much all the good stuff from here there, Javan. Hope to see folks at the meeting on Thursday. I'm going to try to make it, and I'll keep an ear to the ground to see where everybody's getting food. I think that's it. Back to net control, WAWKY and TAD.
All right, very good there, Dave, NTAD. This is W8WKY, and this, I guess I could say the Sarah Barometer Net, Tuesday night net here this evening. Thanks, Dave, for that. We got you down for C, and sounds good on the event this weekend. Hopefully that goes well, and sounds like a lot of fun, and thanks for joining us. All right, next up on the list is John, W2JLS. Good morning, John. How are you doing, and what's your answer to the trivia question tonight?
Whiskey 8 Whiskey Kilo Yankee. Javan, good to hear you in there tonight on the Club Net. Good evening to everybody out there listening. Ears. I think that I would going with the choice that was bias, voltage, or something like bias. I'm not sure if that was C. I hear a lot of C's in there, but I don't recall what choice bias was, but that's my guess. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to add tonight. I'm home. I got home from work, and I got up pretty bright and early this morning, so early that I was at my desk before the barometer net even started at about 6 o'clock. So, yeah, I got home early from work as a function of going in so early, and boy, I got home, I took a nap, and got up, and I'm feeling charged up. So looking for a project to get into tonight here at the house. I've been kind of cleaning up things in the garage and gearing up for project work out there. So anyway, I'll pass it back. Thanks for having me in here on ClubNet. Here, W8UA from W2JLS. Have a good night.
All right, very good there, John. Well, we got you down for C for the trivia question. That was the answer. Is bias supply. That's what C is. So we got you down for that. And great to have you on an evening. Of course, quite a few of these guys who checked in this evening are on for the Saturday morning barometer net that I run. So great to hear all you guys tonight. All right, next on the list was Gary, AA8CS, but he notified me that he had to step away from the radio. So we'll mark him as in and out, and continue on with the list. Next up would be John, WO3X. Good evening, John. How are you doing?
Good evening, Javan, and all on the net. This is WO3X. I'm not sure that you caught Henry's correction there on his call. It's KE8 Yankee Papa Yankee. So he got his, he passed the test at our Hamfest. Let's see here. On the trivia question, I also am going to go with C. Charlie bias, and I successfully completed the 13 colonies special event. I got all the stations. I was surprised that I got overseas there, Great Britain and France on 20 meters, and one of them was way after sunset our time, so it was like several hours after sunset their time. So I'm surprised that 20 meters worked that well, but it was very good, a solid S9 signal. So with that, back to the net, W8WKY, this is WO3X.
W8WKY.
All right, very good there, John. Well, yep, we got the correction there on Henry's call sign. Thanks for that, and great to hear about the exam. See, you just got it a couple of weeks ago, so that's great to Good to hear. And glad you got the 13 Colonies event. That's always a fun one with all the, of course, the main 13 and also the special ones, as you mentioned. So very cool. Glad you were successful with all of those. That's a really fun event. So, all right, John, thanks for being in here, and you have a great evening. Next up on the list is another John, KE8 UIB. Morning, John. How are you doing?
W8UA from KE8UIB. Good evening, Javan, and everybody out there on the net on this terrific Tuesday evening. And the trivia question, I didn't catch the question all like that. But, you know, my parents were listening via scanner. My mom messaged me, and they're both thinking choice D. So with that, I'll let my answer be D, Delta, since nobody else has chose that. Everybody's on a C kick. I'll break up the monotony a little bit. With that, I hope everybody's having a good evening and stuff and a good start to their week. With that, you guys, this is KE8UIB, living the $5 dream a nickel at a time. I'm going to hand this back over to Net Control, 7-3, y'all.
All right, very good, John. Well, hi, John's mom and whoever else is listening. Bet you're proud of John for getting his general, right? Very good. Well, we got you down for D there. Thanks for that, and appreciate you joining us this evening, and hope you have a great evening. All right, next up on the list is Jerry, KC8 HDP. Good evening, Jerry. How are you doing? And what's your answer to tonight's trivia question?
Well, good evening, Javan, and good evening to everyone on the net. Great to hear everyone, and doing a great job as always, Javan. Great to hear you doing the net control. For the trivia question, I'm going to break it up some more, and I'm going to go with alpha, just to be different, too. So, that's the trivia question. Operating on a temporary setup. Most of you know I've been in the process of moving. I am moved, and until I get an antenna up outside, I have a Comet GT3 in the bedroom upstairs, with coax running down the steps to the living room. So, hope it sounds all right. Been really busy with the move. Haven't been able to do much of anything else. But so don't have anything else for the net. So I'll send it back to you, Javan. W8WKY in the net from KC8HDP 73.
All right, very good, Jerry. Well, yeah, the temporary setup's definitely not as good as your usual setup, but it's sufficient for getting in the repeater, and we got every word. So definitely doing the job and working quite well all the way from Shreve. So glad you're able to join us this evening. We got you down for A, Alpha. Thanks for that. All right, next up on the list is Bill, N8LTR. Good evening, Bill. How are you doing, and what's your answer to tonight's trivia question?
Now, good evening, Javan and the group. I'll go ahead with C, bias. That's the right answer, so we'll go that route. And I spent the better part of the day marking the lawn with orange paint so that I can follow the lines when I get the trencher so that I can sink the ground rods in the correct spot. So hopefully the weather gives me a break on Friday, and we'll get the trencher rented and open up about 350 linear feet of trench so I can put all the 2-inch copper ribbon in place and the 18-odd ground rods. And that'll happen over the next couple of weeks. That's got to be a little at a time, or don't want to keel over in the process of doing that much. So, anywho, build sounds nice, but I got one of those flying already. But if somebody's in need of a good multi-bander, hey, get on board. Even if you got to get in late, it's a good antenna. Turn it back to you, Javan. Good net, N8LTR.
All right, very good there, Bill. We got you down for C, Charlie, for the trivia question answer. Thanks for that. And that was good with some of the grounding work and some of the antenna stuff you got going on there. Hopefully that all goes well. And yeah, no problem there about the OCFs. I was in the same situation there. So I'm sure it'll be a great build though. And again, as I said, I was very impressed with the setup and the configuration ease of the one that I installed. So I'm sure it'll be great for everyone. All right, next up on the list is actually the last on the list here. So we'll be taking another round of check-ins right after this. But first up is Mark, KG4SCK. Evening, Mark. How are you doing?
Hello, Javan and everyone. Sorry I had a slip on the foot pedal. Doing fantastic. Let's see. I will have been up here 6 weeks pretty soon, so about time to go home to Kentucky for a week. So I'll miss out on the club meeting next Thursday and a few nets. I don't think I'll bother with Echolink. And for the trivia, I'm tempted to go with the Grid Leak. And you know what? Even though I see, I'm just going to go against the grain and say Alpha. Grid Leak. There you go. KG4SCK, back to Whiskey Kilo Yankee.
All right, very good, Mark. Well, it's great having you on this evening. Glad you're able to check in with us, and we got you down for A, Alpha. Appreciate that. All right, with that, we are at the bottom of the list, and we're going to take some more check-ins for this evening's net. First round ended a little bit early, so we'll see how many are still sticking around for the second round. So if anybody else wants to join us here this evening on the net, now is the time to call. Please call W8WKY.
KD8VYT.
AB8OU.
Kilo Echo 8, Quebec Whiskey Echo.
W8WKY, this is Kilo Echo 8, Victor Quebec X-Ray, KE8VQX, Joe in Akron.
W8WKY, this is Alpha Bravo 8 Mike Oscar Mobile, AB8MO Mobile, Canal Fulton.
All right, for the second round here, we got KD8VYT, AB8OU, KE8QWE, KE8VQX, and AB8MO Mobile. Anyone else for for the regular check-in list for the Tuesday night net? Please call W8WKY. All right, nothing heard. Well, that I don't think I'll go ahead and read the trivia question again unless anybody on this round wants it. Particularly, we did a couple of minutes ago for the first round, so we'll read it if anybody wants it reread for tonight. But let's first get over to our mobile check-in. Andy, AB8MO. Good evening, Andy. How are you doing?
All right, thanks for getting to me right away there, Javan. I checked in. Last time I checked into the net, I was mobile and I was out of range by the time they got to me. So going north, the repeater kind of cuts out pretty fast. At least for me, it does. I don't know. I probably don't have a good enough antenna here. So anyhow, hello. Let's see here. I'll go with Colonel Cornwaldo Bean's boxer brief. For my answer. I didn't hear the trivia question. You don't have to repeat it. I just hopped in the car and heard, I don't know if that was Tom, I forget, whoever was commenting there, and then he said you were at the bottom of the list. So anyway, that's all I got. Did some adjustments on 05, so since the way the repeater's configured, you have to have the carrier dropped out. It almost sounds like it's on simplex now. It drops so fast now, so hopefully we won't have
issues with the repeater timing out during the barometer net. It was better this morning, so it's just taking a while for people to get used to it. They're unkeying and not hearing the squelch tail anymore. It drops almost immediately. But hey, you know, that's the way we got it, and try to get things to work well for everybody. So with that, thanks, Javan. Great to hear you running the net. Thank you for all you do for the club and for amateur radio. This is ABHMO Mobile.
All right, very good, Andy. AB8MO Mobile. This is W8WKY and the Sarah Tuesday Night Net. Very good there. Well, great to hear you this evening. Thanks for joining us. And appreciate all the work you've done there on that end with the Newberry repeater and getting everything working for the barometer nets in the morning. Appreciate that. It's great to have some of the check-ins from up there, including yourself whenever you're awake for the barometer net, for those that are. Always great to have everybody there. So thanks, Andy. Have a great evening. Who's next? It's Russ, KD8VYT. Good evening, Russ. How are you? Go ahead. This is W8WKY.
Good evening, everyone. I don't know what happened, but I could have swore I got in on the first round of check-ins. But that's okay. I'm used to being set aside. As far as the trivia question goes, I was getting a lot of static in my radio, so I didn't hear all the choices. So I'm going to follow John, W03X, and say, I think he said C. So that's what I'm going to do. KD8VYT 73.
All right, very good there, Russ. Well, I apologize about that. I think I called for in and outs that round, but maybe I forgot to say it, so I apologize if we missed it there. But glad to get you in here on the second round before we close out the net. Great to hear from you, and we got you down for C, Charlie, for the trivia question. All right, next up on the list is Zeke, AB8OU. Good evening, Zeke. How are you doing? We were talking about you earlier with your presentation on NFIT half-wave, so looking forward to that. How are you doing, and what's going on?
AB8OU. Had to go turn off PC speakers because they buzz when I am on FM. Anyway, good evening, Javan and everyone. And, well, I did get a clean sweep in the 13 colonies this year. I wasn't really working it. I'd worked a few during Canada Day. And then the last day of their operation, I worked GB13 station, which is the first time since 2018. Then I got busy and worked the rest of the 13 colony stations, so I'd have a clean sweep. Anyway, can't say I'm looking forward to my presentation on NFEDs, but we'll see how it goes. And anyway, a C battery is a little bit smaller than a D battery, AB8OU.
Hey, I like it. But, no, you should look forward to it, because I'm sure I know everybody else is, so, hey, might as well join in there. But, sounds good. Again, looking forward to seeing you next Thursday with the meeting. It should be a great presentation. And until then, hope you have a great evening. All right, next up on the list here is Mike, KE8QWE. Good evening, Mike. How are you doing? Take it away.
Kilo Echo 8, Quebec Whiskey Echo. Well, hello there, everybody. Hope everybody's had a great day. I know that I have. I went and we had a place in our yard that needed the grass fixed up, so I got done. Now I just need to get some rain so that it will grow. And I washed up the can. I washed the Can-Am today because I'm going to go out for a ride tomorrow. I figured I'll at least get off the dirt. And other than that, I haven't been doing a whole lot. I've been on a couple of nets and working on a presentation for the Wayne County Amateur Radio Club, and I have that pretty well done. I'm going to go through it tomorrow and Thursday just to make sure there isn't any glaring errors in it. Okay, trivia. I'm going to go with C. I really don't know. C is as good as any answer. So everybody have a great night. This is Kilo Echo 8, Quebec Whiskey, Echo back to Whiskey 8, Whiskey Kilo Yankee.
All right, very good, Mike. Well, great hearing you this evening. We got you down for C. Thanks for joining us, and hope you have a great one. All right, next up on the list is Joe, KE8VQX. Good evening, Joe. How are you doing? And what's your answer to tonight's trivia question?
W8WKY, this is KE8VQX. Hi, Javan and everyone else on the net. I'm sorry I didn't hear the question tonight. Normally I'm better about that, but I was in a really rough battle with my chess partner this evening when the net started up. So anyway, I'm just going to go with C. Just seems like a good guess. And glad to hear everyone. And so with that, back to net control, KE8VQX.
All right, very good there, Joe. Well, I apologize I didn't read it for the second round, but we got you down for C there. And have fun with the chess competition. Sounds like a lot of fun. So good luck with that, and hope you have a great evening. All right, with that, we are at the bottom of the list, and I made the final call for check-ins, or I guess the second call here. I think we're going to go ahead and read the trivia question for tonight's net. And everyone did fairly well. As you might have guessed, the correct answer was C, Charlie. And let me read the question, the correct answer, and those that got it correct. So again, the question was, in early receivers, a C battery was used as a bias supply, and that was the correct answer. So let's read through who all got it correct. Number 1 was KE8YPY Henry. Got N8EI, KD8SLG, NT8D, W2JLS, W03X, N8LTR, KD8VYT, KE8QWE, and KE8VQX. So good job, everybody, there on the trivia question. I guess after hearing the first 2-3 people, I got a pretty good idea, but it was that was something I found on QRZ.com. So I thought it'd be a good one for tonight's trivia question. So thanks everybody for participating. Let's make one final call for check-ins here for tonight's net. I'll make one final call if anybody else wants to join us this evening. Now is the time. Please call W8WKY.
Whiskey 8, Whiskey Kilo Yankee. This is Whiskey 8 Echo Lima Mike. Good evening, Javan.
This is KE8YPY recheck.
Kilo 5, Charlie, Foxtrot Yankee, Ray and Toll.
KC8, Fox Queen Victor, Mark, and Aurora. Hello, Tosa. You probably don't. You're net, KSFQV.
All right, that round we got W8ELM, K5CFY, KC8FQV, and a recheck from KE8YP. That's the final call there. So first up, let's take the recheck. KE8YP. Man, I got it wrong again. Sorry about that, Henry. We'll try it again. KE8YPY. We got it that time. Take it away.
W8WKY, this is KE8YPY. Yeah, it's fine. Some people get my call sign wrong all the time. It's fine. But yeah, I thought I got the trivia right. So yeah, I was watching Shark Boy and Lobster all in between checking in and listening and stuff. So yeah, I'll hand this back to net control. This is KE8YPY. That'd be great.
W8WKY.
All right, very good there, Henry. Well, yeah, we got most of what you said there. A little bit weak in the repeater. A little bit better the first time, but got most of it. So, again, yep, congrats on getting the trivia question, and great to have you on. And yeah, we'll I'll look out for your call again on the next upcoming nets, and hopefully we'll get it right in the future. All right, let's go with the other. I've got 3 more check-ins here this evening. First up is Eric, W8ELM. Good evening, Eric. How are you doing?
Well, good evening, Javan, and thank you for giving me a little bit of relief tonight. We were picking and grinning right up to 8:30 at the Orville YMCA, so I had a good time over there. And thanks for running the net. And I'm going to pick C for trivia. I guess that's kind of cheating because I didn't hear the question, but I heard the answers. W8WKY from W8ELM 73.
All right, very good there, Eric. Well, no problem there. Appreciate when you do all the trivia questions that you do. So I really appreciate that. Thanks for being here this evening. Great to hear from you, and we'll talk with you later. All right, next up on the list is Ray, K5CFY from Tulsa. Good evening, Ray. How are you doing? And how's Fred?
W8WKY, this is K5CFY. Awesome job there, Javan, on the net tonight. Wish I could have got in earlier. I would have guessed C too, but anyway, good to hear you in there. And I was running a local net here. Did get, Mark, I heard you in there, so I'll put you on the list as well. But anyway, Javan, thanks for getting me in there. Always try to check into my other club's net when I can, and appreciate it. You're doing a great job there, Javan. Appreciate it. I'll give it back to you, K5CFY.
All right, very good, Ray. Well, great hearing you this evening. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate having you in from Tulsa, and I hope you have a great evening. We'll talk with you later. All right, next up on the list, last but not least, I must add, as always, is Mark, KC8FQV. Good evening, Mark. How are you doing?
All right, Javan, KCFQV. Yeah, I didn't have the Fitbit on, so I didn't know exactly what time it was. I had to look at the pump. That always got the clock, and that always is with me. I will just say Charlie. You don't know, just take Charlie. I could take A because that's for Aurora, but I'll just take Charlie. Yeah, Ray, good to hear you. And yeah, I wasn't chopping weeds. I was just driving the weed chopper. Well, the weed chopper was following behind. The weed chopper does good. It follows the tractor real well. You know, I venture to say Ray would like to get that dog of his to follow him well, or him to follow, or the dog says, no, you've got to follow me, Ray. But yeah, these things that we got, these things that got to follow behind. So, yeah, I'll say Charlie. So we'll send it back to net, KCFQV.
All right, very good there, Mark. Well, appreciate you joining us this evening here on the net. It's always great having you on, and I hope you have a great evening. All right, with that, we are at the bottom of the list. I want to thank everybody for joining us this evening on the net. I think we're going to wrap it up this evening with 37 check-ins, including myself, if I can speak. We'll try it again. So I appreciate everybody that joined us and answered tonight's trivia question. Always great having you on. Be sure to check in on the Barometer Net tomorrow morning with Fred, WAAKOC. Also got the net in the evening, and also throughout the week. So hope to catch you on all throughout the week here on the repeaters. So until then, 73, and we will return the repeater back to normal amateur use. 73 all, W8WKY is clear. Hey, Denny, go ahead.
Yeah, I knew this net. Pretty new. I think I checked in once or twice, but as soon as you read the trivia off, I said C, but I didn't get in on the answers, on the air. But I thought C right off the bat. I guess I was right too. So that was a good trivia question and very fine net. So 73, and maybe I'll try to get back on here again. I just happened to catch that we were on our way to Home Depot. So 73, NHUDL, and have a good night.
All right, very good, Denny. Well, good hearing you. Thanks for joining us, and I hope you have a great evening. W8UA, I'm clear.
This is KD8SLG. If you haven't had enough net tonight, I'd like to remind everybody you can reach it. The watch net is going to start in a little over 9 minutes. So KD8QGQ down there in Millersburg, stop in and say hi to Charlie. That's 146670. With a negative offset and a PL tone of 71.9. If you're not in the know, it's a good time. WatchNet, 9 o'clock. KD8SLG, I'm clear.
KD8SLG from NADI.
NADI, KD8SLG. Hi, Jason.
Yeah, I was just curious how much better your connectivity into 443.175 is. Is it just a little better or tremendously better?
Let's just say I have a lot more options of where I can stand to hit it. I was very subject to obstacles trying to go across Worcester to it from before, and now I can pretty much, I don't have to go outside if I don't want to. So that's a major improvement, and that's using a Anytone 878 handy-talkie.
All right, I was just curious because I ran a simulation plot this afternoon of the 2.1 machine. Now that it's only 25 watts temporarily, and then 443.175 now that it's moved. I ran the coverage simulations, and 443.175 came out surprisingly well. So I was just curious what the practical experience that you had was.
Well, height is definitely king, and now that it's up and closer, I used to be reserved to, well, I needed to be this spot between this barn and this tree, and I couldn't really vary from that, and now I can just kind of wander around outside. So there's the anecdotal reply.
Well, to be quite honest, anecdotal is what actually matters. It doesn't matter what the math calculates. It matters what people can use. So, all right, good deal. I was just curious. Thanks a lot, Nick. This is NADI.
With or without traffic from the Tri-County Traffic Trading Net. Good evening, Greg. This is